Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope your day and your weekend are going very well so far. The NFL Week 16 is officially here, and with that comes another edition of Sunday Night Football. Got a really fun matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys, and I have some picks to go ahead and share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. All right, guys, with a new day and a new week comes some new opportunities to go ahead and make some money. Last week, we sucked ass. Nothing more I can really say. I was all over Seattle last week. We were absolutely wrong on that one. But you know what, guys? The best part about life is if you're fortunate enough, you get the opportunity to wake up the next day, the next week, and try again. What did Michael Caine say in that Batman movie? Why do we fall, sir? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up again. I probably just lost 100 subscribers from that right there. You get the point, guys. The point is, we're going to do better this week. We're going to try to do better this week. That's all we really can do. It's called gambling for a reason, folks. Sometimes we're hot, sometimes we're not. And last week, we certainly were not. Coming into this game, though, I do have a really strong read on this game, and I love Tampa Bay in this spot. Not only do I love Tampa Bay in this spot, I think we're in line for a potentially high-scoring game. Let's go ahead and jump right into the outlier screen to share my picks. I have 5 picks to go ahead and give out in this game, including later on in the video our anytime touchdown player prop giveaway contest. It's very simple. All you have to do is comment the last name of the player, and if that player scores a touchdown, we give a $25 Amazon gift card away to one lucky commenter. So make sure to tune into the end of today's video for that giveaway contest. My first pick, we're going with the spread here. Bucs, Cowboys, again, 8:20 p.m. kickoff, to those who don't know. We're going Bucs on the spread here, -3. Now, we are buying this at a little bit of an alternate line. The actual spread is -3.5, but I hate that half a point hook, so I'm buying the half a point down to save ourselves from some potential trickery where the Bucs win by a field goal, but yet we lose our bet. All right, so it's a little more juiced here. It's -135 on ESPN bet, -145 on DraftKings. Like I said, it's definitely a little bit more juiced, but I'd rather play on the side of safety than take the 3.5 point hook, and we get absolutely screwed on it. So Bucs -3, from a data standpoint, they're covering this line in 50% of their games this year. They have an overall 64% cover rate this season. They've actually cashed this line in 3 of their last 4 games and had a push in that Panthers game. On that line, they cover the spread in general in 5 of their last 6 games. Tampa Bay, since they've gotten Mike Evans back, they've been on a really nice little run here. And there were some questions about Tampa Bay coming into last week. How good was this team really? You know, look at that run. They beat the Giants, the Panthers, and the Raiders all in a row. They should have lost that Panthers game. If you watched that game, Chuba Hubbard gifted that win to the Buccaneers. But then they play the Chargers, a team that's also kind of trending in the wrong direction, but they did beat the Broncos on Thursday night, so I guess they're doing okay. But they play the Chargers, and they absolutely destroy the Chargers 40-17 in LA, and kind of silence some of the doubters. Tampa Bay has had a great return to form with all the injuries and all the stuff that's gone on this year for this Bucs team. The fact they are where they are is wildly impressive, and a lot of that goes to Baker Mayfield, who's had an incredible season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's one of the most interesting and most fascinating stories in the NFL. A guy who was a #1 overall pick, who fell from grace, who gets traded to Carolina. He stunk there, kind of bounced around. He ends up succeeding Tom Brady, which everyone thought, man, jumping in Brady's shadow, that wasn't going to work out. He's actually become a franchise quarterback for the Buccaneers, and honestly, you can make the argument, and I'm not going to be the one to do it, but you can make the argument that Baker right now is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. He's having a really great year, and it's been honestly really fun to root and watch for him this season. And the Buccaneers now, they're first place in the NFC South. Now, they don't have a huge cushion there. They only have a 1-game lead, and the Falcons own the tiebreaker. So Tampa Bay needs to take advantage of these matches because they could end up losing the division. Especially with Atlanta making the switch from Kirk Cousins to Michael Penix Jr., that could give the Falcons a boost to maybe win out, and that could spell some trouble for Buccaneers. Tampa Bay needs to take advantage of these matchups. Dallas right now is 6-8. This Cowboys team, their season is effectively done. They've actually done a pretty good job since Dak Prescott went down with Cooper Rush of winning some of these games. They've won 3 of their last 4 games with some impressive wins. They beat the Commanders. They handily beat a Panthers team that I know the Panthers don't have a great record, but they have been trending in the right direction. So some nice wins for Dallas over the last month. They do have that Bengals loss on Sunday Night Football where they actually did play well in that game, or Monday Night Football, excuse me. The Cowboys have been playing better. Some of this has to do with the health, like their defense is getting healthier. Micah Parsons is back. You know, they've got some stuff. Cooper Rush has been playing solid, decently. But overall, guys, I just think this Tampa Bay team is much better than this Cowboys team. Dallas, it's been a great run here. They've done a good job of kind of salvaging the year and kind of making the season a little bit more respectable, winning some games. But again, look at who they beat in Carolina and New York. The Commanders game was impressive, but overall, the Cowboys, this team, this season is a wash for them. And for Tampa Bay, there's just so much more at stake. The Cowboys, they still technically are alive in the playoff battle, but they're done. Let's be realistic. They would need to win out and then a couple of other things to happen in order for them to go ahead and make the playoffs. I don't like Dallas here in this spot. I think Tampa Bay is the better side to bet. This offense is just ridiculously good. Top 5 scoring offense in the NFL. Top 5 in passing yards. Top 5 in rushing yards. Top 5 in yards per play. Very efficient in the red zone. Efficient on third down. Third most first downs in the league. They have a solid offensive line. They turn the ball over a little bit. That's the one area in the offense where they're not very good. But offensively, this team is just so good. They can overcome anything. And this Cowboys defense, again, has it gotten better? Yes, but overall, it's just not a good defense. Tied for 29th in scoring. They're 21st in passing yards, 29th in rushing yards. They still have a decent pass rush, but again, the Buccaneers have a decent offensive line. The Cowboys are also the least efficient defense in the red zone. So it just seems like Tampa Bay is going to be able to get their way and score a bunch of points in this game. Now, on the flip side, the Bucs defense is not very good. It's getting a little bit better. They're tied for 19th in scoring. They're actually pretty decent against the run, but they are awful against the pass. They've got a decent pass rush. Again, it's not a good defense, but it's also not a terrible defense. If you're going to beat the Buccaneers, you're going to beat them through their defensive inefficiencies. But, and especially they have some injuries, Antoine Winfield's still out. But are the Dallas Cowboys really the team that will take advantage of that? And that's kind of what we talk about with these matchups is like, yes, the Bucs, their defense is not very good, but do the Cowboys have an offense that can take advantage of that? They don't have a running game. Rico Dowdle's been playing a little bit better, but they don't really have a running game. This is one of the worst rushing teams in the NFL. And although passing-wise they are pretty decent, it is still Cooper Rush at quarterback, which does give me cause for concern. Can Dallas move the ball? Can Dallas score points in this game? I think they definitely can. Will they go ahead and win the game, though? Can their defense get enough stops against this hot Bucs offense to win the game or even cover the number? I just don't think so. I think Tampa Bay offensively has such an advantage in this spot, and defensively they're just good enough to get a couple stops against a mediocre Cowboys offense. I think Tampa Bay should cover this number and probably win by more than 3. Again, we're playing on the safer side and taking the -3. But this Bucs team, there's just so much more at stake. They're one of the hottest offenses in the NFL. They just dropped 40 points on the Chargers defense. They should at least be able to score 24 to 27 to 30 points, in that range against this Cowboys defense. And yeah, the defense of the Buccaneers aren't great, but they're not terrible either. They can make a couple stops. They can make a couple plays, especially against a Cowboys team that struggles to run the football. So I love the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here, -3 on the road. I think they take care of business and get the win in Jerry World. Piggybacking off of that, I'm going to go ahead and take the over here, 47.5. I was actually initially leaning the Buccaneers team total over, but then I decided, you know what? The Cowboys should be able to score at least some points in this game. Again, the Buccaneers defense, like I keep saying, they have some areas where you can't attack them. Cooper Rush with CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks in this Cowboys attack, they should be able to get a couple of touchdowns here and there. I think Tampa Bay does take care of business. I think you're going to see a lighter version of what last week's game was for Tampa Bay, where they beat the Chargers 40-17. I think Dallas should be able to score in the ballpark of 17 to 20 points in this game because, again, the Buccaneers defense, they do give up some points. They're giving up 23.3 points per game this season. I don't think it's crazy. Dallas, they scored 30 points last week versus Carolina, 20 versus Cincinnati, 27 versus New York, and 34 versus Washington. I don't think it's crazy that the Cowboys could score 20 points in this game. I just think that the Buccaneers are going to score more. This game, to me, feels like a 33 to 21 kind of game. That's kind of the vibe I get. I think the over is probably the smarter play in this spot. Both these teams, decent cover rates. The Cowboys, 50-50 cover rate on this line of 47.5. The Buccaneers, 64% cover rate on this over of 47.5. The insights provided by Outlier as well. The over has hit in 6 of the Buccaneers' last 9 games versus bottom 10 scoring defenses, so you have that going for you. The Cowboys also lost some extra games at home. Their home record has not been very good, so I do like Tampa Bay in the spot. I think Tampa Bay is going to score enough points. They'll score in the ballpark of 30, and then all we need is Dallas to score about 20, which I think is realistic. 33-21 feels like the right kind of score for this game. You could go ahead and take Bucs team total over. It's not a bad play, but I'm going to go ahead and rock with the general over of 47.5 in this spot. And then wrapping things up, guys, I have a few player props, all plus money plays, by the way. Little forced. That was a pick for later. Apologies for that. Our first player prop here, we have Rachaad White over 9.5 rushing attempts. We're getting this for plus 114 odds on FanDuel. Also available on Caesars for plus 112. And yeah, look, the data is fantastic on this prop. I'm not really sure why this is plus money unless I'm missing something. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm an idiot. Who knows? But the data is fantastic. 77% hit rate this year for Rachaad White. 10 out of 13 games he's cashed this over, averaging 10.38 rushing attempts per game this season. He's cashed it in each of his last 5 games, averaging 13 rushing attempts per game. Since he's been back from injury, Rachaad White has been playing incredibly well for the Buccaneers. And look at the matchup here versus the Cowboys defense. Again, this is the 29th run defense in the NFL in terms of yards allowed. I don't see why the Buccaneers wouldn't take advantage of that and run all over this team. The Cowboys this season, by the way, are a team that gets run on a lot. They are 23rd in the NFL right now in terms of rushing attempts against them. They get about 29 rushing attempts per game against the Cowboys this year. Teams are running. I don't think that'll change too much. You look at the run share here. In here, Bucky Irving has the majority of the carries, 39.1% run share. Remember, Rachaad White was hurt and missed some games, so that does affect those numbers a little bit. But even though Bucky Irving does steal some carries away from Rachaad White, he's not going to run the ball 20-plus times. I don't think he has run it 20-plus times at any point this season. Yeah, he hasn't. The highest was 17 against the Raiders a couple weeks ago. You know he's going to get at least 10. He's gotten at least 10. Almost only 3 times this year did he fail to do that. And look at those spots. It was a blowout loss to the Broncos. You know, they got beat by the Falcons there, and then they got beat by the Chiefs. All 3 of them were losses where they had to throw the ball. They couldn't really afford to run the football. Even though they are a pass-heavy team, they do run the ball about right around league average, I'd say. A little more than league average, actually. And the insights provided by outlier Rachaad White has exceeded 9.5 rushing attempts in 5 straight games versus bottom 10 defenses for rushing attempts against, averaging 16.4 rushing attempts per game. For plus money, it's just such great value, such great data. It's hard for me to go ahead and not take this 80% 2 over his last 10 games. So love the spot for Rachaad White. And then yes, you saw it. My second player prop. This is not the touchdown giveaway. This is a separate touchdown player prop because I love the spot. I gave out 2 touchdown plays in today's game. We have Rachaad White anytime touchdown. It is plus 140 right now on FanDuel. The Cowboys 27th in the NFL in touchdowns against, giving up 3.1 touchdowns per game versus running backs. They're 22nd, giving up 1.1 touchdowns per game. And again, since Rachaad White has returned from injury, he has been on an absolute tear. He's cashed this anytime touchdown prop in 7 of his last 10 games. They 70% hit rate, averaging just about a touchdown per game. So really good numbers here for Rachaad White. He has 9 touchdown rushing since October 21st. It's been a really great run here. The only time he didn't score a rushing touchdown was versus Carolina over his last 8 games. So really good spot there for Rachaad White. Yeah, we're just riding the hot hand here for plus 142. Pretty good value. And again, the Cowboys, not a very good run defense. And then our 5th and final pick, guys, in today's video is our anytime touchdown player prop giveaway. So comment the last name of this player or his full name, whatever, CD Lamb or CD Lamb, whatever. Just comment his name down below. And if he scores a touchdown, one lucky commenter will win a free $25 Amazon gift card. We have CD Lamb anytime touchdown plus 155. Now, the data is not as clean on this one as it was the last one. A 36% hit rate this year. 5 out of 14 games he's cashed the over, averaging 0.43 touchdowns per game this season. He has cashed it each of the last 2 weeks. Really what I'm banking on here is that the fact this Bucs defense is just not particularly great in terms of defending against the pass. 30th in passing yards allowed, 250, just shy of 250 passing yards per game allowed. So I do think that CeeDee Lamb has a clear advantage here. You know, the Buccaneers, they do give up 23.3 points per game. So, you know, the Cowboys are going to score. They're going to score through the air. You see the last couple of weeks, he has scored touchdowns against kind of a similar, you know, defensive opponents. A little bit worse than the Buccaneers, but in that same realm. So I do think that CeeDee Lamb should have some success here. The Cowboys do throw the ball a healthy amount. He leads the team in targets by a significant amount. Even the red zone, number 1 with a 28.3% red zone target share. So I think CeeDee Lamb is a pretty safe spot here. And for plus 155, it's pretty good value too. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. I'll be back next week with another Sunday Night Football picks video. But until then, I hope you're all winners. Have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy your holiday. Make sure you eat, be merry and nice, and let's go ahead and win some money. Have a good one, guys.